Hello world, we're here with chapter 2 of Armageddon, Sound the Alarm. And yeah, this chapter really kicks things off. I like how fast they've been getting into the story here. How can it be a bloody break-in if we haven't bloody broken anything? That's all you're thinking? This place is meant to be hidden. Yes, an acquaintance frequented this place. I came to know it well. I don't know exactly where this is. It's obviously on King's Canyon. Is it possibly part of the spot that Loba busted open? That makes sense, another tunnel under there. I like that there's Prowlers around. I wonder if we are going to see Prowlers enter the game a bit more in the future. Like, especially as they say that they want to tell an evolving story with King's Canyon across this season. So perhaps the outcome of this bit of the story, when the second half of the comic series unlocks, could see Prowlers entering King's Canyon. Also, this acquaintance of Bloodhounds, I think we know who it is. We'll come back to that at the end. Heh, reckon we've all got a few acquaintances, yeah? See, again, we'll come back to that. We're dealing with yours, and that's plenty. Quiet, please. Look, Mags and I never... If you got a problem with, you better got a problem. Lifeline, kicking ass in here. I've seen what you do. You play hero by blowing stuff up. May fly on salvo, but a real hero helps people. You don't know nothing about that, do you? While what Lifeline does is different, this... It obviously comes from her struggle with her parents. And the fact that she's gained a bit more confidence against this kind of attitude with the results of Season 7, right? But all the Apex Legends play hero by blowing stuff up. I hope that's kind of like a contradiction that we will come to see. It'd be a nice development to have her understand a bit more what blowing stuff up to play hero actually can do for people and what it can actually do for the greater good. Quiet, please. Bloodhound still. Oh, Allfather, preserve us. But like this here, Fuse just napalm. I like that we're getting a bit more action. I think that this, hopefully, especially as they changed this up a bit with last season's comic, with this more visual medium, they can hopefully show us more actual action. I think that's going to be a really good change with the comics going forward. You could have killed us. And just saved us, mate. All about hurting the puppers, I might add. See? He's a better man than you're just sort of jumping to conclusions. But that's, that's going to be part of the growth of this arc, obviously. And if you missed, mate, and she raises at least a good point. Picked up some bad habits in my time. Missing ain't one of them. This... I love the sound effect, but when I first read it, because it was a visual and the sound effect didn't come in with the visual, like if as you pressed you heard the sh-tink, and as the page loaded in you get the ka-tink. See, it takes another few seconds, just like for the pacing that you tend to read the comics at. It's nice to look at them, but the sound effects maybe just a little slow in this chapter, that I got to this page and I was like, what actually happened? Oh, gas grenade. Right? See, I saw it and I was there like, is that like the after effects of what Fuse launched? So maybe just like, I don't think there's anyone really at fault here, like maybe it's just not thinking in the pace of how people would generally read the comic. Or maybe it's trying to enforce, maybe we should take a bit more time to appreciate each page. Yeah. So yeah, the timing of this threw me off at first. Maybe it's just because I read the comics a little too fast, but maybe something for them to consider. Slightly faster sound effects to match with the images will help the storytelling clarity. But not too big of a deal, because you can quite easily... Oh yeah, I'm a dumbass. It was a gas grenade. Kia ora, Feezy. She's been a bloody age. To be continued. So yeah, as I said, this chapter really kicks things off with a bang. Be interesting if Maggie does become a legend if any of these, if this gas grenade could ever come into things. Which is actually kind of a weird point about Fuse. I kind of thought that his tactical would stun or slow or like semi-blind people, as opposed to just dealing damage as it does. That makes sense, but feels less like utility. So, back to the beginning. So yeah, as I said, this seems to be one of the broken out tunnels from Loba's escapades in Season 5. Be interested to see if the Prowlers do actually come into things. The Acquaintance of Bloodhounds. From the few things I've gleaned about Pathfinder's Quest, the new lore book, this theoretically is Boone. The Boone that Bloodhound mentions examining the helmet in their trials. Why more particularly I think it's Boone is because apparently there's something to do with Boone and hunting in the lore book. I got an email today that my order has finally been shipped, so I haven't actually read the book yet. From the odd little things I've gleaned, this acquaintance should be Boone. And then when you take the way that Fuse refers to it, reckon we've all got a few acquaintances. AA, yeah, right? I think that is trying to insinuate a romantic connection, which Bloodhound then doesn't deny, which would then insinuate that, yes, that was Boone, again from one of the further things that I'm gleaning from the lore book. Don't take my word on that, but I'm pretty confident that that's the suggestion being made. Also, didn't even notice this, he's got a grappling hook attachment for his robot arm. Awesome! That's cool as hell, I like it! And yeah, I like this pairing, well, this sort of triple threat they've got going on here. Real direct conflict from these two, with Bloodhound to bring balance. Like, actually focused on the mission, and these two are just having an ideological debate. Or, well, Lifeline's trying to have an ideological debate. As I sort of brought up earlier, like, playing hero by blowing stuff up is maybe pots and kettles. A little, right? May fly on salvo. This is very true, but then that again, like, although I do like that he's just said, like, yo, we didn't, don't think about that. But you know, if we did, well, you know, what's the issue? But yeah, May fly on salvo. That's something that she should take into account. Like, he's from Salvo. He grew up under different circumstances than her. Neither of them were brilliant in their own ways, but like, he's come to be who he is because of his environment. And he's trying to be better for it, which I think, if anything, is more of a sign of goodness in this dude. I really like Fuse. I always thought he was like a really basic idea, but the more they've sort of executed on him, I really enjoy this guy. He's got real good, like, fun uncle vibes, you know, and he's almost like granddad vibes. Yeah, he's a good dude. I really like this character now. And again, just demonstrating, like, you know, maybe not killing the puppers. But yeah, as I talked about with this bit, the pacing, maybe it's me, I need to read the comics a little slower, but when we've usually had, when they're so, like, the panels are so easy to read in and of themselves, it can feel like just a bit of a pacing issue from both sides. That the visuals are almost like too slow for how the average reader will maybe read this. But, again, also assigned to us, maybe just take your time a little bit more. Because I like that they include the sound effects to do some of the storytelling. Like, their audio storytelling is really strong. And I like how just, like, fleshed out it is throughout this, that most of these panels have sound effects. I don't think there's some music. But yeah, we have music, sound effects, I think music, silence, sound effect, sound effect, sound effect, sound effect, sound effects. Yeah, like, personally, the Revenant versus Loba fight is an even better example of that audio storytelling, but they do a really good job of it in the comics, man. I'm really pleased with this thus far, and I like that Maggie is getting right into things. It's only the end of Chapter 2, and we've had a big turn of events here. So, to be continued. Less to say about this than last chapter. Last chapter gave us a lot to sort of base everything from. This is just sort of more of the same, but progressing the actual plot of things, with the odd sort of little lore drop, as I said, with Bloodhound revealing some things about Boone, and Lifeline just sort of further clarifying her beef with Fuse. So I hope you enjoyed this chapter as much as I have. I hope you're really enjoying the comics, and you've got similar thoughts to me about how the actual world around the comics could develop, with perhaps the releasing of the Prowlers into King's Canyon, which I imagine will come with this mid-season update that they've been talking about, that seemingly will have some effect on the game as a whole. That might even come here after the comic run is done, but as these three have been sectioned off, and then these are their own sort of independent grouping, so that's on March 30th. March 30th? Oh wow, so there's going to be actually quite a bit of a gap before we get the second half of the comic series. Because it's only the 10th of February now. What? A month and a... Wow, that's a big change. I didn't even think about that. Okay, something could fill in the gap here then. Whatever this mid-season update could be something to lead us into this? Because if Maggie has only just kidnapped Fuse, Bloodhound, and Lifeline, we've only got one chapter to develop on that. And that's not going to resolve in a single chapter? Like, it shouldn't anyway, unless Maggie has some particular plan in motion, or the gang managed to escape what is seemingly a kidnapping within the same space that they get sort of caught in here. Like, there's some way for them to get past the gas grenade. Like, Bloodhound's respirator perhaps could be the thing that allows them to ignore its effects, and then is able to get Doc to pick one of the other two up. So yeah, what seems like it could be a kidnapping could actually be more of like a standalone fight, and a Bloodhound like 1v5 battle. The comics are like a perfect place to do that sort of thing. I think that'd be really fun. I am super looking forward to next week now, especially as this group of three could be such a small, contained, but like fast-paced story to develop everything out. Yeah, this could be ramping up even faster than I initially would have thought. So, I really hope you enjoyed this chapter, and looking forward to next week, and I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on it. Thanks for staying with me, friends. I've been Euclidean Vision, the emotional support. Take care of yourselves out there, teammates, and may the glorious light of Best Girl shine within you. Bye-bye.